What's good, boys? I had probably my best ever trading day last night, and I thought I'd jump on here and do a bit of a trade recap for you guys. So, I took three trades during the New York AM session, and all three of them smacked take profit. They were all 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio trades because that's the only way that I trade. A lot of you guys probably already know that, but to anyone new, I only ever trade with a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio. I have some videos going over why that is, but I'll talk a bit more about it now. So, first things first is I did take 3 wins in a row, and that's why I want to do a trade recap. But the thing is that when you take wins like this, it's not where the learning comes from. So I don't actually want to get too, specific about the winning trades that I took, but I do want to cover some psychology, and I want to talk about the previous trades that I took previously to last night that were losses, and I want to talk a little bit about how my psychology allowed me to take these 3 wins. Okay, so when you take losses, that's the learning opportunity. That's where you get to, that's where you're really challenging yourself. That's the days that are really hard in trading, is when you take a loss or you take multiple losses and you start getting in your head about it. Then you start feeling like, doing some bad trading mistakes, revenge trading, over trading, blah, blah, right? The winning days are never a problem. All it is you take some wins and you probably get excited about it. I'm not even gonna lie, boys. When I took that 3rd win, I low-key got up and turned on some tunes and had a bit of a fucking just let it out for a second, all right? But that's not you want to try and avoid that. But I was proud of myself. I think I traded well. Anyway, I'll get into the trades that I took, and then I want to talk a little bit about my data, and I want to talk about some of the losses that I took earlier this week that affected my decision making last night. So the first 2 trades were on a brand new Topstep 50k combine. And for those of you who don't know, I am funded on Apex and I'm trying to get a payout on that account. But I made a new account on Topstep as an evaluation because I sort of wanted to have an account that I could not mess around, but maybe get a little riskier or maybe take a few more trades than I usually would on the funded account. Because I've been streaming on YouTube and, like the last 2 streams I did previously to last night, I was sitting on my hands because I didn't think the price action was very good and didn't really take any trades. But I did take, that's a lie, I took 2 losses. Anyway, on the 50k combine, last night, I took 2 trades, trying to risk about $400. I risked slightly less on both just because of the contract sizing. But those 2 trades got me up to 50,770. So the profit goal is 3,000 and the max loss is 2,000. I want to talk about my risk management strategy on this account, okay? So the common theme of risk management is risk 1 to 3%. That's what a lot of traders tell you to do and what they advise beginners to do. But the thing is, right, is on a 50k evaluation, you don't actually have $50,000. And I'm not good at maths, so I'm not going to just try and spit these numbers out. I'll get the calculator up, all right? Don't call me an idiot. It's probably super simple maths, but a 50k account, right? 50k. If you want to risk 1% or, let's say 1% and you take a loss, right? You lose $500. So you think that on your combine that you're only risking 1%, that you're not actually risking much. But if you have a $2,000 drawdown limit, you can only lose 4 trades in a row before you've blown your account. Okay? So even a 1% risk is quite a lot. So if I wanted to be safe on this account, I would probably be risking 0.5%, risking about $250. And the reason for this is because I got a lot of people in the stream asking about like my risk management and how much, should I risk or how much should they risk. And if you have a $2,000 drawdown limit and you look back on your data and you see that somewhere in the past you've taken 8 losses in a row, or you've taken maybe 5 losses in a row multiple times, then you should not be risking $500 a trade, because you know that you could very easily run into a losing streak of 5. So if you're trading with like a 1 to 4 risk to reward ratio and you only win maybe 30% of the time or less, then you should not be risking that much, because if you go on a losing streak, which you're very likely to do, you'll blow the account. Whereas for me, I trade with a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio. So if I encounter a losing streak of, I'm risking 400, so I need to lose 5 trades in a row to blow the account. If I run into a losing streak of 5 trades in a row, for me, that's very unlucky. Because with a 1-to-1 risk to reward, if you were to just randomly buy and sell on the chart, you are still going to have close to a 50% hit rate. So you're not going to encounter 5 losses in a row very often. It will still happen at some point in time, but I'm willing to take that risk on an evaluation account, right? So that was the 2 trades, and I'll cover them on the actual chart as well. So this was the first trade. This was on ES. I entered this trade at 9:43. And it was off of this 1 minute inversion fair value gap. The reason that I entered that was because we were coming out of this big 15-minute imbalance. Well, it's not big, but it's an imbalance. We're coming out of this, and I thought we were going to come down and take these London and Asia lows. So I wasn't looking for a liquidity sweep of the lows. I was looking to aim towards the lows. I was looking to take continuation trades towards the draw on liquidity. I've said this a little bit in the past, but I've had a lot of trouble with trying to catch reversal trades all the time, because when you're trying to catch a reversal, it often means that you're going against the trend. So unless you're super precise and taking absolute A+ setups, it's very likely that when you get a liquidity sweep, you're probably just the price is going to keep running for a little bit longer, if you know what I mean. So I was looking for continuations to the lows. And the reason I was looking for continuations is, you can see, like, even during London, we came up into this new day opening gap, and we were just, if you just look at the chart like a baby, you can recognize that we're just, slowly moving down, lower and lower. So that's why I took that trade. My draw on liquidity was the lows, but I didn't need to see the lows get taken to hit my TP, because I only go for 1-to-1 trades. So as soon as I get to that 1-to-1, I'm out of the trade. I don't care if we run all the way down. Yeah, it makes me feel good because I know that I got the bias right, but I don't need to catch that full move, because I'm just trusting the probabilities of my system. If I catch the 1-to-1 and I think it's high probability, that's all I need to get, right? All right, so this was my second trade on NQ this time. The chart looks the same because the other one was on ES and the price action was very similar. But you can see that I was able to kind of continue riding this same wave, just in a separate trade. So instead of holding that trade all the way down, I just hit my 1-to-1 TP, and then when I saw another entry, I got into the market again, because we still hadn't hit these lows, and that was my draw. So I took a trade off of this 2-minute inversion and hit another 1-to-1. I could have held it down to that low and would have hit perfectly, but I didn't, because like I said, I just trust my system and I don't need to catch that full move. So that was the 2 trades on the Topstep account, and then this was the trade on my actual funded account. We took the lows. I believe we had an SMT with ES as well. Yeah, we had an SMT with ES, so ES didn't take the lows and NQ did. So I had a pretty strong bias that we were going to continue, we were going to reverse at this point. So that's why I took a long after this. yeah, I kind of read price action like a beast. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, that was a trade. We had a inversion to the upside on the 1 minute. We were coming out of this gap below. We had an SMT at the lows, and I took that another 1-to-1. Okay, anyway, enough of just yapping about the trades that I took, right? There's nothing to learn from this. Yeah, you can learn the way that I trade and stuff like that, but there's nothing for me to learn. There's nothing for you to learn about winning. What I feel like is more important is discussing my losses that I took. We're back to my trading journal now. And this is where the good shit goes down, all right? This is where the learning happens. If you don't have a journal, start a journal. Start a journal, bro. You need to track all of your trades, wins, losses, everything. I want to talk about this, okay? Because this is my week from Monday until last night. I took 3 losses. And after this last loss on Tuesday, right, I was pretty down in the dumps about it, right? I wasn't like, I made a video talking about it, right? So if you want to watch that video after that loss where you can see how I was feeling after that, you should watch that video. But I took 3 losses and I felt like I'd given away so many of my profits. And what I think is super important and something that I actually did really well that I think you guys can learn from is that I didn't let that losing streak affect my trading. I didn't change anything around. I kept on risking how much I usually risk. On this trade, I didn't mean to risk that much. I got wrecked with just like slippage or something. I don't know, dude. But I kept on risking the same amount that I usually risk, trying to risk about $400. I knew that I'd taken 3 losses in a row, and for me to lose about 5 trades in a row is pretty unlikely. And that's exactly what played out. So then I ended up taking 3 wins after that. If you can just trust the probabilities of your system, if you know the correlation between your average risk to reward ratio and your win rate, and you can see through your data, like all of this, you can see I've never taken 5 losses in a row. The max losses in a row I've ever taken is 3. So after I lose 3 trades in a row, instead of thinking, fuck, dude, I suck at trading, like I just keep losing. No, you're able to look at the bigger picture when you have this journal and when you have the data. And you can say, actually, I've taken 3 trades in a row. The probabilities are probably in my favor here. I'm probably due to take some wins. And I know that the past trades that you've taken have no effect on the probabilities of the next trade. But it's a way of thinking that can really help you. So when I came into the day, I wasn't scared to be risking more because I know that my probabilities are in my favor here and I'm probably due for some wins. And that's exactly what happened. So the thing I kind of want to get to the point of is how like powerful data collection is. Because if you don't take any screenshots of your trades and you don't have any history of your trading to look back on, when you take 3 losses in a row, it's actually not that much. But in the moment, if you don't have that data to look back on, you're going to be so caught up in the moment, you're going to be thinking about, what happened recently. I took 3 losses, and it might even feel to you like it's more than that, like you took 10 losses, because you don't have the data to, have as like a backup for yourself. Your brain is just thinking about, fuck, all these losses I've been taking. But when you have the data, and that's what I had, I was able to come into the session, I was able to reflect on this and think about it and realize that, I was just going through a little bit of a rough couple days. I was able to trust myself and trust my system and keep on trading as usual without letting those losses affect me too badly psychologically. Yeah, I took them on an eval, which kind of sucks because I would have loved to take these on my actual funded account because I'm not in drawdown on the account, but the live trailing drawdowns moved up a bit. So collect data on your system, track your trades, have faith in yourself, trust the probabilities, and stick to your system. Always stick to your system, always trust yourself. Don't mess around with your risk too much. Just keep on risking the same amount that you usually do. based on the probabilities of how much you might lose or what amount of losses you might encounter in a row, and go from there. So yeah, look, this week has been quite heavy for me. I've taken quite a lot of trades, and tonight I'm going to trade again, and that'll be my last night trading. I'm not trading on Friday, but I think I've had a good week. I've gone through some real downs, and I've gone through some ups as well. But I think, it's super important to just reflect. And I didn't even make this video to try and seem like I'm boasting about my profits, all right? That's not what I'm trying to get at here. I'm trying to get at journaling this for myself, because I'm on my trading journey as well. You guys are on your trading journey. I'm on my trading journey. And one of the reasons I started this channel in the first place was a way of journaling, right? When I look back on these videos, I can reassure myself that I'm on a good path. And making these videos, like right now, I'm reflecting on my data. I haven't looked at this until I started making this video. So this is like positive reinforcement for myself as well. So I'm up about 700 on that Topstep evaluation. I'm at about $700 in profit on the funded account. We'll just have to see how we go from here. I'm going to keep on trading both of those accounts on stream. I might stream tonight, but I can't be sure of that. And I won't be trading tomorrow, but I'll be back again on Monday. So yeah, I hope you guys liked the video. Just a bit of a trade recap and just going over some of my psychology. And yeah, follow me on Instagram, boys. Join up the Discord. Everything's free. I'm not trying to sell you anything. Yeah, everything's free. You can join the Discord, tune into the streams, Instagram, you name it, boys. Appreciate you for watching, and yeah, catch ya.